Hello and welcome back to 5-Minute Theology. We're starting a very small mini-series in this video. We're going to do two videos, one on heaven and one on hell, as part of trying to think about what the Bible says about our future and about the end of time. And this video is the cheerful one. It's on heaven. So let me start my timer going, and then I will see if I can explain or at least introduce the biblical concept of heaven in 5 minutes or less. And we're off. So the biblical concept of heaven. First, a word of what's called disambiguation, of avoiding confusion, because actually we use the term heaven for several different things. One of them is simply the skies and the space above them. We still use this sometimes in English. We might say the heavens opened when we mean it rained a lot. And really we're using heavens there to mean the skies. And the Bible does this as well. It's common in Hebrew and Greek, the main languages the Bible is written in, to use the words for the heaven or the heavens to refer to the skies or above them to space. That's one use of heaven. Another thing it's used for is the place where God lives. God's in his heaven and all's right with the world, as the poem puts it. And again, the Bible uses heaven or heavens in this sense, the idea that God lives far above us. Not that he literally lives up in the sky, but that he is beyond us, above us in spiritual stature. Sometimes we use the term heaven to talk about the place where we go when we die. Now, the Bible doesn't actually do that. It talks about us sleeping or resting with the Lord. It doesn't talk about us going to heaven when we die. And the final thing we use heaven for is the place where good people go in the end, the reward of the righteous. Now again, the Bible doesn't really talk about that as heaven, because the Bible doesn't have this idea that that when you die, you go to the place of your reward. Instead, what the Bible has is the idea of resurrection. It says that when we die, we sleep, safe in the hands of God, and then all people rise to be judged. And some go to heaven, and some go to hell. And at the resurrection, the reward of the righteous, the thing that we look forward to, is not some bodiless, ethereal state of heaven. It's a new heavens and a new earth. The Bible talks about God making a new heavens and a new earth, which is a way of saying a new universe. In Hebrew language, the heavens and the earth were the two halves of the universe. So it's saying that God will create a new world, a new universe, in which his people live in resurrection bodies, bodies that no longer have the failings of mortal bodies. So no sickness, no illness, no aging. And these new people, who are made new in soul as well as in body, who are made morally perfect as well as physically perfect, inhabit a perfect new world, new creation, and form a new city, which is called the New Jerusalem. Jerusalem, of course, throughout the Bible is God's city, the place where God's people live. And so the Bible pictures the end state of God's people as being like a wonderful new city, a new Jerusalem. Listen to these words from almost the very end of the Bible, Revelation 21. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the old heaven and the old earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. Sea standing for chaos there, disorder. I saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared like a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne of God saying, now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. The Christian hope is therefore for that, for a new order of things, a new creation in which people made perfect, loving each other as we were made to, live a life without suffering or sin in the presence of the God who loved us and saved us. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of being so completely in love with somebody that just being near them is a delight. Well, imagine feeling that way about everyone, and them feeling that way about you, and being there in the presence of the most wonderful and admirable person you can ever imagine. That's the new creation. That's the resurrection. That's the Christian hope and the Christian heaven. And that's my 5 minutes. I hope that was a helpful start to thinking about this idea of heaven, about what it is that we as Christians look forward to. In many ways, the Bible doesn't give us a lot of details, probably because we couldn't now understand them. But it does make clear it's a wonderful thing and something to look forward to and to hold on to. So I hope that's been helpful, and tune in later on when we're going to do, or I'm going to try and do the more somber version of this and talk about the Bible's concept of hell. But for now, enjoy the thoughts of heaven.